Welcome, Elizabeth. She is today our Ayurveda expert, and she is going to share with us some secret insights on the food and Ayurveda. So, just a little bit background about Elizabeth. Elizabeth Jaeger has worked with Anne since 2000 to establish the Sri Sri Ayurveda Training and Teaching Center in Canada, and she took responsibility to promote and teach the art of wholesome eating, the awe program, and she's done she has done it with her great French enthusiasm for good food. So there you go. That's Elizabeth, and she has joined the Army team in 2017 to support the nutrition element of the program, and she travels all through the world, and she shares this beautiful knowledge of Ayurvedic cooking and Ayurveda. And today she's here to share with us some secret insights into why we get hungry, why should we listen to body signals, and what is so helpful about eating peacefully. Why do we eat fruits separate from other foods? And why do parents say, I love this one a lot, empty your mouth before speaking? So it may not be what you think. Sounds really intriguing, Elizabeth. So welcome. Take it away.
Good evening, everybody. It's really nice to be here with you. I'm just going to follow on what Jyoti shared a few weeks back with, eating organic, local, non-GMO, whatever you wish. So, of course, if you eat all those foods of great quality, it's fantastic. But then you also need to assimilate, you need to digest them, and you need to eliminate them well. Otherwise, the whole digestive system doesn't work that good. Yeah, and it's a loss if you've spent all your money buying nice organic food and you don't digest it. Yeah, so what's the first very important thing when you eat? It's that you have to be hungry. Why do you have to be hungry before you eat? Do you have any idea? Because your digestive system is telling you that fire, I can see it. Your digestive fire is telling you that you are ready to metabolize the food. Yeah. If you're not hungry before you eat, forget it. You're never going to digest. Right? When is your digestive power the strongest? There's a time of the day that's really important. What do you think it is? 12, yes, 12 to 2 o'clock. When the sun is really high, noon, when the sun is really high in the sky. Because at that time, the fire in the universe reflects the fire in your digestive system, and you will digest a lot better. So main meal, best at lunchtime, if you can. In the American system, it's not always easy. But anyway, you need to know that if you're going to eat a heavy meal at night, you need to have digested it before you go to bed. Yeah, so you avoid any heavy meal. And I'll answer the questions in a few minutes, if you don't mind. The third thing is your hands. See, nature has given me really big hands. I enjoy that. Only eat as much as your cupped hands can hold. Why is that? This is how much food you can digest in a meal, right? When, for your digestive system to function well, you need to have 1/3 solids, 1/3 liquids, and those liquids will not be drunk during your meal. They will be drunk before your meal, at least an hour before, or after your meal, at least half an hour to an hour after your meal. So drink a lot between meals, and then with your meal, take only about as much as half a cup of lukewarm water. no ice water. It would just extinguish your fire completely, right? Just figure yourself throwing a bucket of cold water on a fire, and you'll have the idea of what it does for you. Okay? Next thing, you need to wait until this meal is fully digested before you get the next one in, right? Otherwise, just imagine the story not working. So one thing I want to talk about is, do you realize that your digestion involves your 5 senses, right? So when you take a pizza from the freezer and you stick it in the microwave, that's not doing good for your digestive system. Imagine you going to the market, looking at the veggies, choosing them, putting them in your basket. Then you come home, you unwrap it, you cut it, you put it in a dish. When it cooks, you've touched it, you smell it, you look at it, all your senses are going to participate. Yeah. And at each stage, there's a signal that is thrown into your digestive system for you to digest the food. Am I heard there? Yeah. So this is really good, but it has its place. If your senses are involved at the moment when you sit and eat, they will be involved, of course, because you're going to watch what you have in your plate. It's going to be lovely. But if you start watching TV, or if you start having an important conversation, or, being dragged or listening to, heavy music, all these things, you're taking your attention away from your plate. What does that mean? When you eat, first, you can pray over your food, bless your food, and then take a minute of silence. If you're emotional at that moment, take more than a minute, get rid of your emotion, and when you feel ready only, you start eating. You have to understand that whatever emotion is there when you eat, it's going to come back 70 hours later, and you won't understand why. Like, I'm angry right now, and I'm eating. This anger will show up in 72 hours, and I will have no idea why I get angry suddenly. So that's really, really important.
Is there
So
any
you
research
pray.
on it? Is there any research on that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah.
Thank you.
So when you sit, bless the food, take your time, sit quietly, concentrate on your plate, and just get this idea in your mind. The tongue has 2 jobs. Either it's going to talk, either it's going to taste and swallow. So at the moment when you're eating your food, just be with your food fully. Be aware of the foods also that are easier for you to digest, depending on your constitution, on your doshas. Ayurveda says some foods will be easier for you to digest. So make sure you check yourself after you've eaten to understand what's gone down well and what's not gone down so well. One thing Ayurveda recommends is fruits have to be eaten separately. Why? Fruits digest very quickly, and if you eat them at the end of the meal, all the rest, they're going to sit on all the rest and they're going to start fermenting. So eat your fruits away from your meal before. Sometimes when you're hungry before the meal, eat a fruit then prepare your meal. You have half an hour, and then continue with your meal. And now, one of the last thing I want to say is be really aware of all the food combinations that that upset you. For example, in Ayurveda, a big no-no is banana and milk, because they have different post-digestive, effects. and they are opposite in your stomach. So they're not very easy to digest, right? Now, the tips I want to give you, after your meal, you may lie down for 5-10 minutes and then take a brisk walk, right? On your left side. So you lie down on your left side, 5-10 minutes, then you get for a nice big walk. Yeah, even 10 minutes, right? You can take digestive tea, the CCF tea. So that's a mix of coriander, cumin, and fennel, equal quantity of each. And you put it in boiling water and you sip this after your meal. That's really good. You can take Triphala. Shri Tadva is selling a very good brand of Triphala because they don't, most of the products with Shri Tadva are raw, which are much better, much more potent, and is going to really help you rebalancing the digestive system. So the tea, CCF tea, coriander, cumin, and fennel, equal quantity, boiling water. Easy? Yeah. And then the last thing I want to show you, and I'm going to show how to do this now, is how to make your digestive recipe and have a slice before your meal. Yeah. So CCF, coriander, cumin, fennel seeds, same quantity. Yeah. Everybody got it? Okay. So should I take your question before I show you the digestive recipe?
So the powder of it, CCF powder you are talking about?
I would say full grain, or if you do the powder, it's freshly ground.
Okay.
Right? Because if you keep powders that are not freshly ground and you keep them for weeks, especially if they're a pot in the light, they won't be as fresh.
And then again, not to drink water with that CCF, right? Just the powder.
No,
yeah. Okay.
Just a little, half a cup of CCF after your meal. Right?
Elisabeth, how do you know when your digestion is done? Like some people think it's when you go to a toilet, no? But if it's dinner and I had it around 7, how should I feel to know my digestion is done?
I didn't get your word. How do you feel when your digestion
How do you know? How do you know that your digestion is over? Like from your dinner?
It's over. Mm-hmm. Well, it's exactly what I said at the beginning. When you start being hungry, it means you're ready.
But
as
if
long
it's
as
your
you're
dinner,
not hungry, forget it.
No, but if it's your dinner, so it's okay to go to sleep when you feel hungry again?
Yeah, it's normally 2-3 hours. After 2-3 hours, depending on what you've had with your meal, then you're fine. Yeah.
But you're hungry and you go to sleep with hunger? I'm a pita. I can't do that.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying eat a good meal. If you're a pita, eat your good meal, and then wait until you've digested to go and lie down. Right? Which,
yeah, but that's my question.
Anyway,
how do you know you've digested? Just hunger? Is that the only symptom?
No. You feel complete. Right? How do you know you've digested? You feel complete. You feel good. You feel energetic. Yeah. When you've not digested, how do you feel? You feel heavy. You feel sluggish. You feel, right? You have all kinds of, whether it's the air is coming up from the top or from the bottom, you feel all these signs. Right? So when you've well digested, you feel you've got the energy from the food, and you feel good. You feel light. Yeah.
So Elizabeth, there's one more question in the chat, and we hope that you can answer this. It's what about having dessert first, like sweets?
So Ayurveda says that you should always have your sweet taste first. Why is that? In fact, when you look at sweet taste, it's most of the foods that we eat, especially as vegetarians, are sweet, right? Like rice is sweet, milk is sweet, ghee is sweet, what else is sweet? All the fruits are sweet, carrots, beetroots, sweet potatoes, everything is sweet. right?
Like,
Cereals, yes, of course.
is there any foods that reduce the inflammation for Vata person?
Yes, so, you know, we have a course, and actually Jyoti Jain is going to give the next cookery course from the 25th to the 27th of June. And I'm sure Jyoti can put the URL for you to get the information on this course.
Yeah, I'll put the.
We have a course that really addresses helping people to understand whether they're Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or a mix of both, and how they can address their own systems. So definitely different foods are better for different people. So we will put the link on the chat for sure.
Okay, thank you.
A quick question. As you mentioned that no banana and milk together, but how about
Yes.
the non-dairy milk? Non-dairy milk, like
Absolutely. Yeah, that's okay. That's
Okay.
perfect. This is what we do. You can do almond milk or avoine. How do you say? I'm in French, so I'm now fighting to get my English.
no, there's the oat milk.
Oat milk or whatever.
Right.
You can, yeah, but no milk and banana, right?
Okay.
We also say no cucumber and tomato together. But you know, it has to be taken with a pinch, because in some countries, like in the Eastern countries, like for Nadia in Jordan, you eat cucumber and tomato all the time, so your body is probably used to digest it. In France, we eat apples and walnuts all the time, so you know we probably don't have a problem digesting it, because for generations we've been eating it. Yeah. So you really have to listen to your own system and see, oops, I ate that. Maybe it didn't work well together. Then, you know, you might not want to do it again.
Can we eat oatmeal with banana? Is that
Yeah.
good?
Yes. Yes.
She said yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Couldn't hear
Yes.
it.
I'm serious. Yes, I'm serious.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
I forgot one. The people who are doing intermittent fasting but having Pitta Prakriti, how about them?
Okay. Well, I'm a very high Pitta person, and I do very good on intermittent fasting. Yeah. You just need to be very sure that the meal you have is really satisfying and full. Right? So your lunch meal has to be really a good, plentiful meal, and then you can probably fast. Not have a dinner and not have a breakfast after that. Yeah.
For how long?
Well, how much is intermittent? You need to stay so many hours without eating, right?
10 hours, 11 or
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
or
Yeah. So eat a good lunch, and then see what happens. Yeah. Me, I do very well on intermittent, 16 hours.
16 hours. So at night we eat 7 o'clock.
Oh, my
No, you
More.
don't. You know, it's best if you have that meal is best if you have it at lunchtime, because
Okay.
this is the time when you digest the best, right?
Okay. Then at evening time you don't eat anything then?
And then you don't eat anything for dinner. You can drink.
Drink. Okay.
And
But
then
if you
drink
are hungry?
for breakfast as well.
Oh,
And then,
God.
but you know, I'm not a specialist on intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't feel hungry. So any advice on that?
Yes, so I'm going to give you a tip actually, because you need to stimulate the digestive fire. So that's exactly what I was going to show you, is how to make something for you to stimulate the digestive fire, so you get really hungry before you eat.
Lovely.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the setting so you can see my hands more than my face. Yeah. Un petit peu plus. Oula, il va falloir
Can you show some drink also? What kind of drink should we drink?
CCF, I already told you, right?
Which one?
So I'm going to show you a little potion that is extremely good. I'm going to use ginger.
Ginger. Okay.
Can you see everything?
Yeah,
Yes.
we
Okay.
can see.
So this ginger, I have a little brush here, and you notice I haven't peeled it. The good reason is it's organic. So I've just used my brush and I've really nicely cleaned it, right? One less job. And now I'm going to cut it very finely. And I've already done some for you here. So I didn't have to spend half an hour cutting ginger. So you can see this ginger is very, very thin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put them in your little pot here, right? And now you're going to do a lemon juice. Yes. And this lemon juice, you're going to put it in a side little bowl. I need enough lemon juice to cover my ginger, okay? Now I'm going to take some honey. So really important in Ayurveda, honey should always be raw. When honey is cooked, it's confusing your body cells. It's really not good. So when you buy your honey, make sure it's raw. So I'm going to take a spoon, a little spoon, a teaspoon, and I'm going to mix that honey. If it will do it, that would be nice. So this is, you see my honey is a little bit solid. This is the sign it's raw, actually. It's also written on the label, but I wouldn't even need to know it. Because when honey has been heated, it stays liquid. And that's why they do it. Yeah. I'm going to put a touch of salt. This is Himalayan salt. Yeah. Okay. Mix all this together. And I'm going to pour this on my little pot. That's how quick and fast it is. Now I'm going to keep my little pot in the fridge. I have my ginger, my lemon, the honey, a touch of salt. And this little pot, I'm going to take it out before my meal, and I'm going to eat a few minutes before the meal, 10 minutes maybe. I'm going to eat a slice of that ginger to stimulate my digestive system. Does that work? Yeah.
Awesome. So, Elizabeth, there's a question. Is honey good for people with diabetes?
So, not the best, of course. No honey. No honey, of course. That's it. That's not a good recipe if you're diabetic, obviously.
Yeah, if you're diabetic, just take the honey out of the recipe and
exactly. You can do it with just the salt, you know. You can do only the ginger, the lemon, and the salt if you're diabetic.
There's one more question. Can we have this recipe during the pregnancy?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Of course. You want to stimulate your digestive system, right?
How long can we store this recipe after we make it?
A week without any problem. In fact, it's absolutely nicer when it's been soaking a little bit together for a while. Yeah. So.
Question. Being a Pitta, I have good hunger, and seems like the digestion is good too. Also, I'm taking Triphala before bed every night, but still suffering from constipation. What can I change to overcome this?
Okay, so a good thing, Anne is trying to tell me something.
Take more Triphala.
Yeah, take more Triphala, of course, yes. Raise the amount of Triphala you're taking. And the other thing you could do is soak some dried prunes and take those. This is really, really helpful, right? You can do also flaxseed. Flaxseed is good. you know, you ground flaxseed, of course. Are you drinking enough? That's very important. If you don't drink enough, you're going to be constipated for sure. Yeah. So if you're only drinking half a liter a day, then go to a liter and to a liter and a half. Drinking is essential for good bowel movement.
How much water you recommend generally on an average? I'm not asking you that, okay, it is written down in stone. No.
No, it's not.
But just on an average, how much would you suggest?
I would say a liter and a half average. And then it could be a bit more, a bit less. And it depends on the season as well, right?
Right.
And on your dosha, of course.
So there's one question. Can I take milk at night if I am a Pitta Prakriti?
Yes, you could put a little spoon, a little teaspoon of ghee into it. That would really help. Yeah. And you could put a touch of saffron and a touch of cardamom and a date, because Pitta will love the date as well. Huh? And turmeric. Yeah, a touch of turmeric. That's cooling as well. So milk, that milk has to be warmed. Inside you put turmeric, cardamom, a touch of saffron, a date, a little spoon of, a little teaspoon of ghee, and you grind it. Yeah, and then you drink it. You drink it right before you go to bed.
So it does give good night's sleep?
That does give lovely good night's sleep.
But I've heard that dates have a lot of sugar, though it is
They
normal.
do. So if you can't have sugar, then don't take dates. Huh?
Sorry, I missed it. I missed it. What did you say?
I say if you have a problem with sugar, if you're sugar intolerant, then you can't have the dates. That's for sure.
Not sugar intolerance, but I've noticed that any amount of sugar closer to the bedtime will keep you wide awake.
Even with a date?
Because the dates, it is like if you read behind the box of it, it may have like 25 milligrams or something of in one date. That's much amount of, though it is a natural sugar, but it is a sugar though, right?
It is, but you know, as a Pitta, normally if you don't have kapha as well, you should be fine. And you know, if a date is too much, take half a date, right?
Understand you, right? Before we move on further, on the water, I had a question, one more question that you mentioned that one of the doshas may need more water. Which doshas generally need more water, Vata, Pitta or Kapha?
Tell me.
I would say, yeah, Pitta definitely, yes.
Pitta definitely, because they're burning all the water, you know, and Vata for sure, because they're so dry.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, there's one more question. Can vegan milk be added to banana shake?
Can vegan milk be added to banana shake? Yes.
She said non-dairy,
If it's
yes.
not real milk, if it's not real milk, there's no problem.
Thank you. I was looking for it.
Okay, there's one more question here.
Yes.
I'm Vata and Pitta person. What foods are good for me? I'm a
You
Vata.
know, we have a whole course on this. I can't answer just like this, boom. Yeah, but one thing for sure is you need to watch. If you have cooling food for Pitta, you need to watch you're not cooling Vata too much. You understand? You have to really be aware of what's happening in your body when you eat, and take good care of yourself, take good care of your digestive system, and hope we'll hear about you again. Okay?